good one. Okay, moving obstacle again. So let's play with him a little bit. What would happen if you lowered his neck? So as you lower his neck, no microphone. Do you remember back when they did the stretchy circle at the canter? Yeah. We're gonna play with that. I think my microphone just died. Oh, no it didn't. It maybe did. Okay, let me try this again. Okay, oh yeah, that's working. So I want you to take him into a longer frame and maybe not even longer, but I just need him to lower his neck a little bit from the withers. And that's partly because he doesn't want to right now. You know, he wants to be a little up and a little bit tight. And I love his neck and his ability to carry it up. But if he won't let us do something else, you know, we kind of have to do the opposite of what he wants. Super. So now take his neck lower. Good. And as you take his neck lower, you're going to ride his shoulders and withers up. So that's, you know, kind of the idea of the stretch. Yeah, right? So neck down and shoulders up. Good. I want you to play with the canter a little bigger right now. So he needs to be a little bigger, a little bit thinking shoulder forward. Good. A little bit bigger again. Because his more collected canter right now is not quite as strong and beautiful as his regular canter, as his working canter. So I'm going to have you play with a little bit bigger, you know, go forward and back a little bit. Super. And still thinking neck a little lower than you would normally ride it. Think shoulder forward because he's a little bit crooked. Good. So now collect the canter again. Show me how collected you could canter. He's like, yeah, no, I'm tight. And that's, you know, when they're tense, that's the hardest thing is to ask for collection because they're just like, I can't do it. The nice thing, Wendy, I don't know if this comforts you at all, he doesn't look tense, which is great. Well, to me, that's huge because I've shown some really tense horses that don't look tense, and you can get some really lovely scores. They don't always feel so good, but, you know, if the...
He doesn't feel terrible. He just isn't as in front of my leg as he normally is at home.
Right.
He's riding on the borderline of being a little behind my leg.
Right, and I can see that, which is why I was trying to get you to ride the canter more forward. And let's make that even more expressive because he's giving you a collected canter that's a little bit, you know, not the same quality that I'm used to from him. Good. So now take him bigger. Bigger in the canter. Kick him if you have to. You know, if he's dull, you could be a little bit loud. Good. Now collect, but tap him lightly with the whip on the hind quarter. Yeah. Collect. Better. And then go forward again. A little straighter in the neck. Super. A little straighter in the neck. Even counter flex for a moment. Bring the shoulders a little bit. So you're going to ride renvers at the canter. Shoulders are going to come a little bit left. Flexion is going to be a little bit right. Haunches are going to need to be a little bit more right. And you're going to have to get that done with your inside leg at the girth and your outside leg back. It's super awkward. Good. Hands a tiny bit lower. It's okay. Nice walk transition. So I'm making you turn into a pretzel. Could you feel the canter getting straighter though?
Yeah, he's really, like, he doesn't go forward, he's like, he bows out over here.
Yeah, no, he's all kinds of crooked at the moment. So riding the renvers can really help you. But again, it's very awkward as a rider because you have to get this done with your inside leg, you know, in the normal canter position and your outside leg in the normal canter position. Good. Super. Good. His neck could be a tiny bit lower. And now just ride him straight and shoulder forward with very little bend either way. Good. Kicking forward. He's like pirouette. So here, what I'm also seeing is he's going, we've been playing with pirouettes. So, yeah, so he needs to really think about, like, you set him up for a pirouette and then canter out of it. Because that's really actually more important right now is that he'll come out. So you say collect, 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 and you say get out of here, go. He also is pairing, and this is really important, he's pairing, important in a negative way right now, he's pairing collects the canter for a pirouette with turn.
Yeah.
And he needs to be like, collect the canter, go straight.
Yeah.
Let's go to the right for a minute, and we can give him a little bit of a walk break. What's nice, though, is I can see the canter pirouette, you know, it's just right there. But again, with him and his athleticism and his a little bit quirky, we have to be careful that we don't accidentally teach him, you know, to fall to the right, or to fall to the inside as we collect. There's an exercise, we might have to have you move your circle down a little bit, or we can just do it here to the limit that we can. Is basically it's a 20-meter circle, half pass in, leg yield back out, half pass in, leg yield back out. And that will get him thinking both pirouette and half pass, but then he's like, no, we canter forward, go back out. Wendy, I forget, how old is he? Yeah. So still a bit of a baby. Just about to hit the age of reason. 9. 9 is usually pretty good. I know, some of them never hit it. Yeah, so let's definitely do that again. Let's tell him neck down a little bit. And again, he has kind of a perfect neck. It's set up beautifully high. It comes out of his chest and his withers, you know, really, really well. But he will also use that against you. Because he's like, look how easy it is for my neck to be way up. And you have to sometimes tell him, no, you need to carry it down. Good. That's better. Super. So now think about the renvers. So the shoulders right, the haunches left, and the flexion. And then think with that left rein, lower his neck a little bit. Yeah, and then go forward. He's like, this is too hard. Yeah, go forward. Nice. Good. And then he can be a tiny bit straighter in the neck. So if you feel that his braking was justified, then you're okay. If you feel that he just quit because the work got hard, then I would either give him a kick or a tap and say, no, you should really canter. Even if it's not a lovely up transition again. But I don't want him to tell us when he should quit. Good. So shoulders more right, neck straight. Turn your body a little more right. Yes. And he doesn't need the counter flexion now. We're just trying for shoulder 4 with true flexion. Turn your shoulders a little bit. Yes. Good. Now bigger canter. Yes. All right, so spiral in a little bit. You're gonna have to turn around, yeah. Spiral in a little. More bend as you come in. Good. Leg yield back out. Inside leg pushes into the outside rein. Good. More canter. Just a little. Good. There. And then half pass in. Take the shoulders a little bit. So, yeah, leg yield back out. He likes to bring the haunches in first. And so, I don't know if that's happening. I probably would have you show me a little canter half pass down the, go down the rail this way because you've got some room, and show me a little bit of canter half pass. Good. Get over to the rail, set yourself up. So I would do that again. I want you to be a little bit more in shoulder 4 before you start.
I can't get him positioned enough.
He's just
tight.
gawking and everything.
Yeah.
Let's do a little trot work for a second.
Okay.
We're gonna do this exercise is called El Barachito, which is the little drunk. So this is obviously from a Spaniard. So what you're going to do is go down the long side down there, and you're going to do shoulder in for 5 or 6 steps. You're going to do renvers for 5 or 6 steps. You're going to do leg yield. So if you think about it, it's going to be shoulder in, renvers. Sorry, I got my brain messed up. Shoulder in, renvers, leg yield, haunches in. There's a certain sequence that makes sense. And don't worry if it's perfect. Just tell him, hey, you have to move yourself around in this. So you're going to think shoulder in, bring the shoulders, good. So shoulder in, more angle, and then renvers. Good. Now the leg yield, so the haunches come right. Now the haunches in. So when he gets spooky down there and the haunches in, I want you to ride that haunches in and make him go down there. Because right now I feel like he's telling you a little bit how the program should go. Good. And if you turn, I want you to go out and around the 3 barrels and the ones with the orange cup on them. So that's going to be the end of your arena. And he's going to not like it, and then you're going to come down this line between the cow and the pen. So shoulder in. Turn your body a little bit more. Renvers. Keep the haunches out. Now the leg yield. Now the haunches in. Keep him to the rail. Inside leg, outside rein. Now straight. Now turn around and come down this line after the cow. You're going to come shoulder in. He's not going to like it, but then he's going to be renvers, so then he's going to not be looking at the cow. Good. Yeah, don't let him look at the cow. Stay in renvers. Bend him more to the left. Good. Super. Straighten him out. Track right again. So you can use the haunches in, you can use the renvers to keep him, occupied. Shoulder in. Renvers. Keep the haunches out. Now the leg yield. Don't switch to the haunches in yet. Keep the flexion left. Keep the flexion left. Now haunches in. So switch the flexion. Super. Straighten. Yeah. Keep your inside leg. Keep those. Yeah. Circles. Tell him no. That is not okay. He does not get to direct this. Shoulder in. Renvers. So he doesn't have to look at the cow. Now the leg yield, so flexion left, haunches towards your right.
Thank you.
Yeah, now haunches in. Now keep him haunches in, turn the corner, keep him haunches in. Haunches in. Hands a little lower, a little more trot. Keep him haunches in. Haunches in. Keep him pushed to the outside rein. Yeah, good. Keep him in haunches in. Super. Switch it to shoulder in. Yeah, more flexion. Keep him kicked out to the outside rein. Keep him out to the outside rein as you turn down there. Yep, shoulder in the whole way. He's going to be shoulder in. Switch to renvers. More bend, more bend. Push him against the left leg. Good. Now the leg yield, so haunches to your right. Keep him in leg yield. So come around this corner in leg yield. It's going to be hard. You got to bring the haunches, yeah, just sort of leg yield them around. Yeah, your whip is at the wrong moment on the wrong side. So yeah, leg yield down the rail. More half vault on the outside rein. More crossover. Good. Switch it to haunches in. Good. Push him into shoulder in. Ride the long, short side and shoulder in. Good. A little more trot. Shoulder in. Good. He's taking a breath finally. Good. You're going to track, let's see. You're going to get yourself turned around, so you're going to have to make sort of a little loop-de-doo down here. We're going to do this the other direction. So however you can, whatever little yin and yang thing you can do to get turned around. Yep, super. So now think shoulder in. Good. Stay in shoulder in. This is super awkward. Stay in shoulder in all the way through the short side. Hands a little lower. He can trot a little more forward. Push him forward. Push him forward. Don't let him stall. Stay in shoulder in. Yeah. Renvers. It'll actually be a relief. I think it'll be easier to keep him going. Yeah. Good. Do the leg yield. Haunches to the middle. You're going to have to come through this corner. You might want to switch your whip if you still can. Never mind. Not a good moment. Good job. Turn for your line. And now do haunches in. A little more bend through the neck. Make sure you feel him pushing against your left leg. Bend in left. Half vault the right rein because it's kind of drifting. Come through the corner and haunches in. You might want to switch your whip if you can. Yeah. Haunches in. It's all right. Yeah, get him trotting. I don't care that he's distracted. Good. Put him in leg yield because he's being silly. So put him in the leg yield nose to the rail. Kick his butt over. Bend him more right. Bend him more right. Yeah. Tell him to go. Yeah. Tell him to keep going. Bend right. So I'm using this right now. Kind of and then straighten him out. Go forward. And then you kind of pick what you want. Do you want haunches in? Do you want shoulder in? Do you want leg yield? I'm using it to put him to work when he's saying, I'm spooked by something or I'm not paying attention. Good. He's breathing again. Super. Nice. I like that. More trot. Get after it. Make it go. Good. Nice. Good. You know, on that one, I might have tried the leg yield instead of the haunches in. Yeah, take a break. Because,
my eyes and my nose are just watering.
yeah, no, I hate winter weather. I mean, I actually kind of like it, but it makes my nose run and my eyes water. And he's being naughty. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Pony, thank you. And it's going to be a real pain for a while. Now pat him. Oh, yeah. Now. And sometimes you can get the opposite thing happen, which is now he's just going to just bobble his head. So let him put it down this time and see if he actually touches you. Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, he's better. I mean, so then you have to pick the thing and say, well, he was kind of naughty, but he was kind of okay. So I'm not saying it's not going to get worse before it gets better, because now he's just totally offended. Pet him right now while he's being good. Pet him. Tell him he's a good boy. Oh, good boy. But I think if you give him, and that was nice too because you put the hand forward enough so he didn't touch you. I think you can teach him really quickly not to do this.
He's not a dummy.
Yeah, but it's going to just take you paying attention.
Yeah.
And you and you paying attention and you feeling motivated to do it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's hard to get motivated. I just remember when that trainer walked up to me, and it wasn't this at that exact moment. My horse was in the cross ties, and she was pawing and moving, and I was brushing her in motion. And the trainer's like, "That's rude." And she went, and the horse just stood. And I was like, "Oh, you can make her stand? Really? Like, I don't have to, like, run around and groom her?" So some of this is really just, getting motivated to do it. So I'm using the different things and I'm mixing them up. The pattern is typically shoulder in, rod bear, leg yield, haunches in, but that's just because that's the pattern I was taught. But then I change it up and I say, you're not feeling like you're listening to this leg, or you're not feeling like you're standing up, or whatever it is, and I just kind of move them around. And I make him do the corners sometimes the same way.
Right.
Because then I felt like he began to get, well, it also lets you kind of hit on the behind the leg.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
It's the only way to really do it without him just kind of running down on his head.
Yeah. And then you just change it up.
Yeah.
You're like, no, because you are way too uphill to run on your head.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah, exactly. But it's hard. Sometimes the really athletic ones that are built uphill can do ridiculous, like, look at my hind end floating, look at, because they're athletic.
Well, when he was younger, it was if he sped up, it was like, and you're like, well, you're kind of uphill, dude.
Yeah, you shouldn't be doing that.
But we had, he wasn't the strongest baby, so.
Yeah, and I forget, what's his breeding? What is he?
His dad is well contents too.
Okay.
And his mom was an off-the-track thoroughbred, who was a really nice mare. Like, I rode her for a couple years. She had a bit of a back injury after some other training, but she was a lovely mare.
Okay.
Neither of them were spooky, so.
Yeah, like, where did this come from? He's just too smart, because a lot of his stuff, I think, comes from being kind of smart, and he's, like, looking for.
And he likes kind of, he likes being a little bit built up and showy, and he really does. Like, you watch him, he's like this in the paddock.
Yeah.
He's ridiculous.
Yeah, because I look at him, though, and I go, I don't really think he's a spooky horse. I think he, like you said, he gets, I don't know if when you were a little girl, my girlfriends and I and sister used to be like horror movies, and we would like be so thrilled to be like frightened.
Yeah.
It's just like, wee,
yeah,
we're
I
so
think
scared.
he's a little like that. Like
Feeds
he's
off
dramatic. He's a wee bit dramatic.
Yeah, so funny. Let's try that a little bit at the canter.
Okay.
So what I want you to do, and of course it's going to be much less so. I mean, you can do the haunches in pretty strongly.
Right.
But it's going to be all of those same things. We'll start with the original combination, shoulder in, rond bear, leg yield, travers. But then you can kind of use what feels best.
Okay.
And I want him to finish a corner down there. And the corner can be your choice of where it is, but it can be that you choose to do a leg yield through it or a hunch. But I want you to manage it so that he doesn't kind of like, because what he did with that first half pass is he kind of half passed and he kind of fell through the corner.
Yeah.
And then we'll play with the half pass a little bit.
Alright, dude. You ready?
He's like, no.
Gone to sleep. You're resting your legs, you never do.
He's like,
you're tired when.
He's like, I'm so tired.
I wasted so much energy spooking.
I know, that's the hard thing is they totally wear themselves out.
Yeah.
Hey, Charlie. Good. So shoulder in. Yeah, get the canter a little more forward. I'd rather have more forward and a little bit straighter. This is where I think the renvers is going to really pay off. Yeah. Push him up to that outside rein. Good. Shoulder in. And then a little bit renvers. Good, kick him, make him go. He's like, this is hard. So it is not half pass, and that's me talking to him, but this is not half pass, honey. So leg yield him if he does that. If he can't understand run, yeah, super. So now come back to shoulder in. Good. The leg yield definitely did not improve his canter. So what I'm going to have you do, though, is if he's falling off the rails, I'm going to have you leg yield him straight back, to the rail. because he's saying half pass, and I'm going, no, it's not half pass. Good. Make sure your weight's a little bit to the inside, because I think you're a little bit sitting off the outside. So shoulder in, sit a little bit in. Good. Now try the renvers, just slight. Yes. Yes. Now that should feel super straight and uphill.
Yeah.
So we're just using the renvers as sort of a straightening, balancing tool. So a little bit shoulder in, keep your weight to the inside. Keep his neck a little straighter now. And then the renvers, don't let him quit, and don't let him throw his haunches around. And that's when I would throw him right back into shoulder in and say, hey, don't do that. A little bit more canter. Shoulder in. Yeah, leg yield if you have to, but I mean leg yield to the right, just straight to the right. Thank you. And then a little bit renvers. We kind of ran out of room. But the canter should feel more uphill and straighter. And then if he starts falling in like this, you can club him one with that inside leg. Just a little tap that says, hey, knock it off. Yeah, kick him to go forward. He can do this. We'll give him a break in a minute. Good. So one more time down this long side, then he gets a break. And let's do it well. A little tiny bit flexion right. Keep him cantering. A little bit of flexion right. Oh, such a silly man. Oh, we're so stressed out. So he's better on this side right now. On the next long side, take him on the second track. Don't have him on the rail. See if that helps out. See if he's claustrophobic. A little straighter in the neck. Relax the left rein. Don't make him bend so much. Don't make him do so much. Because the shoulder in on this side is getting too much. And so that's when he starts to struggle. And I think it's because he's spooking.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him. He wants to cut his neck, take his neck that way, and then.
You know, I would let him.
Okay.
See what happens. Because what's happening is as you set him into the shoulder in and it gets more and more extreme, then his canter loses quality.
Okay.
So I would worry a little bit less. I'm not sitting on him, but I would worry a little bit less about the spooking and try and get his neck straighter and take the angle less. Because he literally is getting a little scrambled in the canter.
Yeah, I can feel it. He's like, it's like his head, his neck ends here. I can't.
Yeah, so I would bend him to the outside and say, fine, look out. And then bend, but Charlie, I would play around with him a little bit because he's too smart and he's like, well, I'll do this.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, fine, I'll bend you the other way. So don't worry if it's correct.
Okay.
Just say, move your neck. Now, if he's going to look over there and bolt and spook, that's not going to be very fun. But try straightening his neck and looking out for a minute, and then bend it back in if you need to.
Okay.
All right, so go try that again because I'm curious to see what happens. Yeah, because I just don't want that scrambly canter.
Yeah.
Too nice of a horse to give us scrambly. Good, so just take the shoulder forward this way. And his neck straight. With a little bit of shoulder forward. Good. So that's all you have to do on the other side. We don't have to have very much shoulder in or very much renvers. We just want his neck straight. And the counter flexion to think about getting him, let him counter flex, I know. And make him counter flex a whole bunch for a second and then bring him back. Then kick him hard on the inside and say no. And the no is like don't drift. But that canter looks a lot better.
Yeah, it does.
Go bigger. Yeah, keep him straight. Right. Good. So if he starts to fall in on this direction, you're going to give him a boot with your inside leg that says, no, I don't like that. Yeah, super. Super. Give him a boot anyway. Just say, hey, don't do that. Preemptive boot. Nice. I would give him a break. That's a good boy. Again, I know it's not what it feels like, but it is so lovely that he doesn't look terribly tense.
Oh, that's great.
I got
like our saving grace.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I remember showing a really hot tricaner that just had exploded before we went into the ring, and I was going to scratch. My girlfriend's like, don't scratch, just go ride it. And I'm like, okay. That was a training level test. And I just sat there and I didn't touch him because I knew if I did, and I was sitting kind of cockeyed because he was, and I just kind of rolled the whole test like this, and we just went really forward. And I got like a 78 or a 79. I'm just like, boy, if you'd been sitting on this, you would have never, ever given me that score.
It's getting better, but I can feel he's giving up. Like, you can feel him letting go of it slowly.
Yeah.
Is his back starting to move again? Like,
yeah. Well, that's why I'm like, let's do shoulder in, let's do run fair, let's just move him around and say, hey, buddy, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And you're going to have to, by us moving around, you're going to have to loosen up. I could hear him snorting a little bit, and, he's definitely moving better. It's also irritating when big fancy movers like this come out with the little crap trots, or the little crap canter. You're like, why are you doing that? But it's very easy for them to do. I mean, they can be expressive, and they can be
and he tends to get really tight in his back, and then the canter just feels like...
Yeah.
So, yeah, exactly. You have it in you.
You do.
I don't.
Nice. Good job catching that. And I really think he's going to get over that, but I'm going to harp on you tomorrow, and then you're going to do it a few more days. Let me check our time here. We're kind of at that point where you could either do another canter to the right, or you could tell him he's a good boy. We're at the end. I'm happy to have you do another canter. I'm also happy to be like, he was good.
I wouldn't mind a canter the other way.
Let's do it.
Because I feel like it went pretty good.
Okay, so let's canter the other way. We're going to do the shoulder and renvers. Mostly I think what we ended up doing was shoulder in and renvers at the canter. But if you want to add something else and you think it's good, try it. Yeah, I would take it bigger, and then keep him in shoulder in around the corner. Hands a little lower, and I'd kick him a little bit. His neck to be a little lower. Yeah, he's definitely right now not giving you as nice of a canter this way. A little bit flexion out. Yes, good. It's better when you speed it up a little bit. Better. Shoulder in, and then think renvers. And you can even think, like, swinging his neck a little bit. I don't do this very often, but he's a little tight. I would be like, hey, bend your neck. I would, like, allow the outside rein, bend him in a little bit, and then I'd allow the inside rein, bend him out a lot. Like, take his neck, swing it outside, swing it. Yeah, try not to swing his body, and then swing it in. And let's do this again. You're going to try and stay in a shoulder 4, and you're just going to swing his neck around. Again, this isn't something I do very much, but he's just a little bit not letting you move him around. He's not letting you in to do anything. So you're like, hey, this is my neck. I'm going to move it. Move it around. Good. And now move it around out. And now relax it a little bit and just put it where you want it. Now that should feel nice.
Yeah.
Good. So if he's locking onto something, then you get to say, mine. Nice. Yeah, careful though when you change the bend that he doesn't throw his haunches at you. Because that goes on that rude meter. That's rude. Yeah, think shoulder in. Keep him cantering. Don't let him quit. Shoulder in. Don't let him quit. I don't care. There. There. Good. So I would bring him back down. So you probably felt that there.
Yeah.
He gave you a total crappy canter again.
Yeah.
And he was sort of coming out of shoulder in, and he was like, I want to quit, and I'm going to break. And I'm like, no.
Okay.
You do not get to choose crappy canter and quit. So forward almost always helps. Changing the bend or putting him in more shoulder in, but just he was really telling you there that he thought maybe we shouldn't canter anymore. And I'm like, no, that you don't get to say that. All right, let's do it one more time, and this is going to be great. I mean, I actually really liked that correction. I like what you're getting out of him. Good. So think a little bit on the long side, forward and back. Yeah, shoulder 4. Get the shoulders a little bit to your right, forward and back, better. And if it's good, just ride it. You don't have to do anything to it. And if it's not the way you want it, you just move him around a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so that looked like, and let's go ahead and quit with that. That looked like that was easy and rideable and of good quality. And you didn't have to do anything tricky. You know, you just like straightness. Stay with me.